Kingdom citizen.
Welcome everybody to Sunday Night Talk. We're going to just have a conversation on Sunday night. I am your host of Kingdom Citizens of Wisconsin show, and my name is Dr. David D. King, and I just want to say welcome to each and every one of you here. Let's get the announcements out of the way. Why is it important to stay in the middle from a kingdom perspective? This book is now in 19 states. And if you would like your copy of this book, give us a call at 414-676-0842. That's 414-676-0842. And for those that have a youth ministry, or a men's ministry or woman ministry in your church and you want to help raise money, you can partner up with Kingdom Ecclesia Academy and help work a couple of Brewers games to raise you some money by calling 414-676-0842. That's 414-676-0842 or 414-899-2688, 414-899-2688. And if you're having problems with your baby father or baby mama and you want to have a better relationship for the betterment of your child, then campaign co-parenting. Give us a call at Kingdom Ecclesia at 414-585-9511. That's 414-585-9511 or 414-899-2688. That's 414-899-2688. And we will help you create an environment and a culture of co-parenting that'll be a blessing to your children. And then join us this week, Thursday through Saturday, for the Kingdom of Heaven Summit. This is going to be some awesome teaching on the Kingdom of Heaven. And if you want more information on this summit, you can call us at 414-676-0842. That's 414-676-0842. And we will share with you more about the summit. And you are more than welcome to join us for the summit. Amen. So I wanted to come out and just share with each and every one of you about this summit, because it's going to be an amazing time. The last time we had fun, we learned so much that we was asked to do a part 2. So now we have part 2 that's starting on Thursday night. So I wanted to talk tonight just briefly on a couple of things. And one is April, we have a election. We have an election for Supreme Court. We have an election for school board. We have an election for municipal court judge. We have 3 automatic district races. And I just want you guys to understand that you need to do your homework. This is not a time where we just ask anybody who we vote for. This is not a time where we have people tell us who to vote for. I think this is the time where we do our homework ourselves. And that way we'll know for ourselves the type of people we are voting in office and how it affects our lives. Because a lot of times we go voting, but we don't know how it affects our lives, because you have an automatic race, you have your local races, and the local people just lie to you and tell you, well, we couldn't do nothing because of state. And then the state people lie to you and say, we can't do anything because of federal. I think it's time that you look at each one of those different races and say, hey, you know what? This is the job of those that are at the federal level. This is the job for those that are at a state level. And this is the job that's at the local level, that you do not allow local races to fool you, to lie to you, to try to deceive you. Because one of the things that we're going to do in the next set of local races, which is the big set of local races, is 2024. And in 2024, what we're going to do is we're going to start exposing people. We're going to expose those that are in office. If we find that a store owner, a restaurant owner, like a different candidate and don't like the incumbent, and they are being threatened by the incumbent, then we're going to expose that individual on all of our platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Rumble, on Apple, on Spotify, on iHeartRadio, on Amazon, Audible, every platform that we have, we're going to start exposing people because of their using intimidation, tactics, or bribery, or threatening people because they don't support them. As a citizen of Milwaukee, you should say enough is enough, and that you're now going to take your rightful place. Because the people of Milwaukee is the one with the power, not the elected official. But what happens is we've been thinking for a long time that the elected officials are the one that has the power. You, the people of Milwaukee, you guys has the power. And you get to say who in office and who stays in office. And see, for a lot of times, we never hold them accountable. And I know when they run around, they're talking to you, and they said to you, what I'm bringing to the table is accountability. Well, I looked up the definition of the word accountability. The definition of accountability is the state of being accountable, liable, and answerable. And if we be honest, our elected officials in the city of Milwaukee has not been accountable, they have not been liable, and they have not been answerable. They do not answer questions. They don't give you answers on why your street light is out, so it's dangerous for you traveling on your block. They don't give you answers why potholes are still in our community. They don't give you answers on why the street light is on your water bill, but they're not on. They don't answer why your garbage is not being picked up like they're supposed to. They're not answering you why the service is so terrible. They're not answering why and what is their answers for crime in our city. They're not answering questions on why our seniors are losing their homes to taxes. They're not answering. They're not giving you any answers, but they keep talking and using the word accountability. It is time for us to hold them accountable. You have 3 automatic district races. Those of you that lives in the 9th, the 5th, and the 1st should be asking a lot of questions, not voting for somebody because of the fact that their name, you heard that name before. You have a Ball in the race, you heard that name before because of the sheriff. You have a Pratt in the race because you heard that name before because of Marvin Pratt. You have a David Bourne in the race because you heard that name. But have you did your homework on any one of those people to find out what they stand for? And I'm going to tell you the tactics that are being used even in the race of the automatic district. On my show, we had a lady running for the 5th automatic district. And not even a half hour after the show was over, she get a text that the mayor wanted to see her. And it was just a tactic to let them know that they're watching. It was a tactic to let her know because they mentioned her 12 grandchildren because they didn't know she had 12 grandchildren until they watched the show. So you guys, we are not going to allow anybody to intimidate anybody any longer. We're going to stand up as we, the people of Milwaukee, those of us that, you see this the church says vested in Milwaukee. There's a lot of us, we got a lot at stake. We invested our lives in this city, our blood, our sweat, our tears. We gave more to the city than we got in return. And we are not going to let all of our hard work just go down the drain. We're coming together, we're rising up together, and we're letting people know enough is enough. You're not just going to sit in an office. You're not just going to not perform your duties as a representation of the people. That's what you're there for, to represent the people. We have crime that's going that is off the chain in our city. We have education that is the lousiest in the state. We have business owners that have to leave the city so they can open up their business and they can prosper. We are sick and tired of our seniors losing their homes to taxes, because taxes are steady going up, but the seniors' income is not going up. So we are sick and tired, and we're going to stand up for the people of the city of Milwaukee. And one of the things that we have to understand and realize is the power belongs to the people. That is why on Saturday nights, we teach the Wisconsin Constitution, so you'll know your constitutional rights, so you'll be able to rise up and defend yourself and force your automatic person to do their job. Force your county supervisors to do their job. Force your school board members to do their job. And if they don't do their job, you need to fire them. Point blank. You need to fire them. You need to let them know that enough is enough. We're not taking it anymore. We want a better place for our children. We want places open so our children can go to. And we want to make sure they can get the help that they need when it comes to their education. We know single moms, they're struggling. They're trying their best to do great. And you got some single moms are doing pretty good. But then you got those that are trying to do good, but they get punished every time they try to make a little more money. They're getting threatened with their child care being taken away. They're being threatened about their food stamps being taken away. Instead of saying, you know what, we're going to work with you and then we're going to wean you off. We're not going to punish you for wanting to get off the system. We're going to help and celebrate you and move you so in a direction that you can be more self-sufficient and you can have the life that you want. And so we have to look at it, Milwaukee, our young people. We got to make it better for our young people. We have to look at this thing for what it really is. And one of the things that is going on right now is that we are not being taken care of by the elected officials. We're not getting the best service like we're supposed to do. Like they said, they tell us to vote for them. They're going in office and they're going to look out for us. They've been looking out not for you. They've been looking out for other people. That's why you're still suffering. That's why crime is still high. That's why education sucks, because they're not looking out for you. They won't even talk about black on black crime. They won't even talk about how they're trying to take a 5-year-old, K4, K5, and confuse them with their gender, with their sexuality. They're talking about sex to 4 and 5 K5 children, our children that's in K4 and K5 first grade. They're confusing them with their sexuality. Our children don't need to be confused with that crap. You have people that focus more on sexuality than education. Our children do not need to know anything about sex right now. They need to be playing with Barbie dolls, G.I. Joe soldiers, going outside, riding on the electric cars. When we came up, there was big wheels and wild riders, but now they got the electric cars. They need to be outside having fun, not being confused, not learning how to hate one another. You put 2 kids in a room or 3 kids in a room at the age of 5, and they can be white, Latino, and black, and they all will play together in harmony and have fun. But no, we teach them not to work in harmony. We teach them how to hate. We're the ones confusing them, and we got to stand up for them. We have to protect our children. Now we have a Supreme Court race. Don't let them lie to you talking about they're going to do things to take away your voting rights, women rights, gun rights. Ain't none of that stuff is going to happen to you in this race. What you want to do in the Supreme Court race is you want to look at your rights according to the Wisconsin State Constitution and the federal Constitution and see who is going to protect my rights. This is not being a Democrat or a Republican, because the same rights according to the Constitution is for both Democrats and Republicans. It doesn't matter where you stand in the aisle. What matters is who's going to protect my rights. That is what's at stake. Is my right threatened? All right. So when you go and you look up the Wisconsin Constitution and then the federal Constitution, then look at and listen to each one of them and listen to say who is going to defend the Constitution, who is going to make sure my rights is still intact, who's going to rule according to the Constitution and not rule according to their feelings or the lobbyists or any party. We need people that's going to stand up for we the people. And I want you to go look them up. I want you to listen to them carefully. And I give you guys an example. Many blacks was excited that Obama was going to be president when he was running for president. And many thought that he was going to do something for the black community. Many thought that. But if you ever listen to his speeches, Obama never said he was going to do anything for the black community. Obama never mentioned he was going to do anything for poor people. They only talk about middle class. You are not middle class if you're getting food stamps. You are not middle class if you're getting child care. So you got to find out who is going to be there for me. Who's going to be there for my children? Not because they're talking and using the word middle class, because here's the thing about it. You can't be middle class and you're on rent assistance. We got to just think about it for a while. We can't just let them just use these words and then just go about their ways and play the word game. Let me share what I mean by that. They came out with global warming. And the reason they came out with global warming, because they was trying to do something called cap and trade. And if cap and trade would have went through, everybody in Wisconsin would have been calling somebody, maybe in Florida, California, Georgia, Texas, in the warm areas, asking to turn up your heat in your home. And they probably would have told you you use too much energy. So they was trying to control the energy. So they used global warming. And when they used global warming and everybody began to fight against global warming, and scientists came out and said global warming is not real. And then you had those that said it is real and those that said it wasn't real. And then the fight got so intense that those that believe in global warming changed the language. And the language they changed, it went from global warming to climate changing. And when it went to climate changing, they looked at it like, oh, well, you can't argue about climate changing. Why? In Wisconsin, we go through 4 different climate change: winter, spring, summer, and fall. 4 different ones. So we know there's climate change in Wisconsin all the time. It all depends. December, you might think it's August. So, So when you start to look at it and then you go and you ask why, what's behind? See, we got to start looking at the surface and look at what's behind the scene that they're not sharing with us. What's behind the scene in Milwaukee, excuse me, why they want crime so high? Why did the population of Milwaukee went from over 600,000 down to 500,000? Why are people leaving Milwaukee? And why do they have to leave Milwaukee to go somewhere else and prosper? When all of the black elected officials we have says, vote for me and I got you, I'm gonna take care of you. And we still in the same area, in the same condition that we in. 53206 is in the same condition that it was in when they first made the movie, when they first talking about 53206. Nothing changed significantly. Nothing is better. But I guarantee you, money came to 53206, but nothing went to the residents. What happened to the lead that was in there? And there was a big uproar about the lead pipes. What happened to the lead? Is the lead gone? Did we take time to go and test lead in everybody's house? People's houses that in the communities that we know was lead, has the water been tested that there's no more lead? Because guess what? We ain't heard nothing else about it. We haven't heard anything else about if they fixed the problem. So what happened? We have to get to a place where we start getting answers. And if we want accountability, then we got to make sure we're getting some answers. And you got to look at your life and look at your block and look at your community and ask yourself this question: has my auto person been an asset or a liability? Because when you hire somebody and you ask a question, because in 2024, now you got to rehire these people. So in 2024, you got to act, has they been an asset or a liability? Has my community got better or has it got worse? Do we have the things we need in our community? Is the roads taken care of because we're paying wheel tax and all of that? So is the roads better for us? Is our service better for us? Is they really standing up for us? Are they really talking about making sure our community has everything it needs to thrive, to be the best? Do you feel safe in your community? These are the questions that you have to ask. Because if the answer is no, then it's time to replace those that's been there but have not performed to the level that you want them to perform. See, the power is not in their hands. The power is in your hands. And you know, one of the things that I love that we have to understand is this: when we guys open up and you start looking at everything that deals with your rights, your constitutional rights, right? It starts off as we, the people, everything. So we, the people of Milwaukee, has to say enough is enough. No political party is going to save the people of Milwaukee, Democrats or Republicans. We, the people of Milwaukee, has to come together. We, the people of Milwaukee, has to have our mind to work. We, the people of Milwaukee, has to throw away our political hats, Democrats and Republicans, and come to the middle and says, okay, let's get this done for us. Because it's not going to get better thinking that thinking it's going to get better because of the fact that we have Democrats or Republicans in office. Neither one. They all talk about accountability, but nobody has an answer why our education system sucks. Or nobody has an answer on why we still have high crime. Nobody has an answer on why life is not getting better. Communities are not feeling safe. Seniors are losing their homes. Our veterans are sleeping under bridges. Nobody has an answer. Mental health issues that are going on. Some of that mental health came through the lead in the water, but nobody wants to talk about that. So why do our business owners have to try to go outside the city because of they can't prosper in the city, or it's taking too long to get their business open up in the city of Milwaukee? So there's a lot of things that we need to talk about. There's a lot of things that we need to do. There's a lot of things that we need to say, but we're not saying it. And here's the thing. We cannot afford to lose another generation. These generations are being lost as casualty to the war because of the fact that these people don't care. The ones that are in office don't care. Okay, so they turn on a fire hydrant to cool you off. That's nothing. Or they give you a Band-Aid to put over a cut that needs stitches. That's nothing. You should feel safe in your home, safe in your community. You should have a great community. Why you think in the heart of the city where the low-income families is, gas is the highest? No alderman is saying anything about it. And it's not saying anything. Why is it that the neighborhoods that there's the lowest income lights is not on, or the lowest income their garbage is not being picked up, or even the grass cut on the lots that's owned by the city is not cut and the grass be high? Why is that? Then it's time to fire. It's time to get rid of. We can make a better Milwaukee. Notice what I said. We can make a better Milwaukee. We can be the ones that make it great. We can be the ones that do the things that needs to be done for the sake of our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren. We just got to be the ones that want to do it. And so you got to ask yourself, with everything that's going on, with everything that is out here, how long do you think we'll be able to survive? With crime is high, we're breaking records. We breaking records on deaths. We're breaking records on failing our children. There was a survey done, and here's what happened. 9% of the children that graduated, or the young adults that graduated I believe it was last year, 9% could read and do math at their grade level. 91% graduated, couldn't read or do math. 91%. And you telling me, are we setting these children up for success, or are we setting them up for failure? Look at the game they played, and they said to us that they was going to bring our youth back home. Bring the youth back home. We're bringing the youth home. We got to bring them back so we can create programs to rehabilitate them, and they can be close to family. So they went into an area that had no representation, voted and signed it in that they're going to put this detention center in the 9th district without any representation. But the facility is supposed to be for 32 youth. 32U. So let's do some math real quick. 32 times 400,000. That's $12.8 million. But there's 80 youth up there. So let's do the math. That's $32 million. I'm doing math for you guys. So they left almost $32 million up there by leaving 48. 48 of our youth they left up there because they're not our youth, they're a dollar sign. So why should we get excited that they're building something for 32, but not all 80? Here's why. Do you really think they was gonna let you bring $32 million back to Milwaukee? $32 million? Because that's somebody's salary, that's somebody's job, that's somebody's way of living. So do you really think they was gonna bring all 80 of our youth home? Or is that 32 beds going to be for 32 new youth going there and leaving the other ones up there? These are some of the questions we got to ask. And why did our mayor sign something without representation in that district? But wait, if a business owner wants to open up a business right now in the 9th district, he has to wait until there's representation for the 9th district. So he can't go right now and open up a business in the 9th until there's an alderman in the 9th, but they can vote and do things to the 9th district even though there's no alderman there. Do y'all see how they're trying to do you? Do you see how they're treating you? You're not important to them. You can't prosper. You can't open up nothing until you get representation. But we can vote and do anything we want with you with no representation. Now, every alderman that voted, I guarantee you they got empty buildings and empty spaces in their district where they could have put that 92 million. I mean, those 32 beds for the youth. Every last one of them could have put it in their district. They didn't want it there. So let's put it in the 9th. Ain't no voice for the 9th. And the people in the 9th, we don't care about them. They're not in our district. So if they call downtown to complain, who they gonna complain to? Because I'm gonna tell them, you're not in my district, so I don't want to hear it. We, the people, has to say enough is enough. We, the people, has to get ourselves educated. We, the people, has to understand what's really going on so we can make a change in our community and our city. Local races is the most important race ever, because local races are the foundation, and we have to make sure that our foundation in the city of Milwaukee is solid. We have to make sure that the foundation in Milwaukee is solid, that we can rebuild on it, and we can make this place a better place. So it's up to us, the people in Milwaukee. Do not sit at home in April. If you're in the 9th, you're in the 5th, you're in the 1st district, automatic district, you need to be at the polls. If you are in the district where the school board's races, you need to be out at the polls. If you're concerned about your rights, you need to be out at the polls. That means everybody, everybody. And your rights is not given to you by Democrats or Republicans. Those are your God-given rights that was given to you so that you may live the life that you desire to live. That you have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That you have a right to do the things that God is calling you to do to better your community. And so I say to you, it is time. It is time. Enough is enough. We will not operate in ignorance anymore, but we will rise up. We will start asking questions. We will tell the people to give us account for how they carry themselves in the last 4 years. And nothing, you hear me? Nothing they have done that geared to any community. Every black elected official in Milwaukee don't even talk about the black-on-black crime. They don't even talk about everything that's going on in our community because you know what? We are not important to them. You're not important. So now you got to show them that they are not important to you. You are their boss. You have the right to question them. You have a right to call a meeting and they need to come. They have to come. You have the right. You don't wait till they call the meeting. You call the meeting and make them give you an answer for what they've been doing. You have that right. Your alderman cannot brush you off anymore. Your alderman cannot tell you they can't come, they too busy. You have a right to demand their presence. You are their boss. If they can't respect you as their boss, then you need to fire them. Nobody, none of us cannot come when our bosses call us. We have to answer. We have to go give an account on what we have done. That's why they call them evaluations. We have to evaluate our aldermen, and I guarantee you they all will get a failing grade because you didn't want high crime. You didn't want the potholes. You didn't want your street light off, even though you're paying for it. You didn't want the lead in your water. You didn't want your garbage not being picked up. You did not want the potholes. You did not want when it was snowing your side streets not being plowed. That is not what you sent them. That you sent them to office to make sure they're a good representation of the district, and they failed miserably. They failed the people of Milwaukee. They failed us. And if you let them stay in office, then you like it the way it is. Stop complaining because you allowed it. And this is why we have to come to a place to say enough is enough. Enough is enough. Also, our DA is coming up for re-election in 2024. And all the families who lost a loved one because by a person who was giving a slap on the wrist and let them back out, you need to remember that when John Chisholm is up for re-election. You cannot allow him to stay in office if he haven't done his job to represent you as the victims. If he didn't do his job, he shouldn't stay either. County executive, if he haven't done his job, you guys need to start taking each one, look at what they've been voting on, look how it either helped you or hindered you. You need to look at their voting record. It's not hard to get the voting record of the alderman and and what the mayor signed. It's not hard to get the voting record of the county supervisors and what the county exec signed. It's not hard to get the information from the school board on what curriculum they allowed in the schools and how they've been spending the money. This is time for the people of Milwaukee to get up, to rise up, to say enough is enough. Young people, if you want to protect your future, the way you protect your future, the way you protect your future is by changing the aldermans, changing people in office, and then put somebody there that's going to look out for you guys. Put somebody there that's business friendly. Put somebody there that is community friendly. Don't just put anybody there that they're not going to do it. Don't allow these people to lie to you saying the Democrats is going to do it for you. Don't allow these people to lie to you and say the Republicans is going to do it for you. You need to do your research on each and every person that is going to run for office, so that way you will know who's lining up with what you want, who's lining up with what you believe. Do you know every company doesn't hire you based on being a Republican or a Democrat? They look you up. They do things and says, okay, now we need to do a background check. Okay, then they do a reference check, and then they call you the other companies that you work for. And see, a lot of times companies can't say things because they might get sued. So what they do is they switch the question and ask the question like this: would you hire David again? If the answer is no, then David was a liability and not an access. So as you go around and you look, listen to people, because there's a lot of people that are angry with the elected officials. And then you ask them, now that you know what you know now, would you elect them again? And watch the answer. I guarantee you they'll say no, because they haven't done nothing. And if they say yes, then ask them, what have they done? Show me what they've done to make it better for us. And I guarantee you, they can't tell you. So as I close this out this Sunday night, I want to close it out like this. I am the answer to the problem of walking. And I want you to say that to yourself every morning and every night. I am the answer to Milwaukee, because you are. Each and every one of us are the answer. Excuse me. We are the answer to Milwaukee, each and every one of us. And if we come together, individually, we ain't gonna be able to do it. But as we come together collectively, we can make Milwaukee better. We don't have to leave. We don't have to pack up. We don't have to go to Arizona. We don't have to go to Texas. We don't have to go to Florida. We don't have to go to Georgia. We don't have to go to Vegas or Nevada. We can do it together. One mind, one purpose, one goal. And that is to make Milwaukee a safe and prosperous home for us all. This is Dr. David King from Kingdom Citizen of Wisconsin. Until next time, God bless you.